What is going on, everybody? My name is Fitz Miller. Today I'm going to be explaining to you guys why a Wagon is the #1 best daily. Let's get right into today's video. Before we begin, if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and be sure to subscribe for more automotive content. Let's get right into it. If you guys are new here, this is my 1994 BMW E34 Touring. This is my child, this is my baby, and this is the #1 best daily I have ever had to date. I'll give you guys a little bit more in-depth look at the Wagon towards the end of the video, but for now, it's time to explain why Wagons are the #1 best daily available. So while I've only had Wagon for about 6 to 8 months, I have had a lot of dailies up until this point. My very first car was a BMW E90 sedan. I've dailied a mini truck, I've dailied the Skyline, I did that for about 6 months. I've also dailied cars like Miatas, I dailied the E30 for a little bit, and then I've dailied my parents' cars on and off if mine were broken. So, needless to say, I've had quite a few dailies, and this one still tops the list. Let me show you why. Other than just being the most gorgeous body style, in my opinion, it has a lot of practical features that you just don't get in other vehicles. So obviously, the first thing you're going to notice when looking at a Wagon is that it's got a whole lot more going on with the rear end than a sedan, a truck, or a two-door like a Miata. So not only do we have the front driver compartment, we have a rear bench seat, so that's seating for 5 right there. But if you come around to the rear, you will realize just how much extra space is in the back of this thing. I would like this to go on record is that when I dailied my D21, I would often carry around wheels and tires. I still do now to this day, but something so amazing about this Wagon in particular, it probably would work with other Wagons as well, but I was able to fit more wheels and tires into this car than in my mini truck with a whole ass truck bed and nobody in the passenger seat. I just think that's very, very impressive, and that only carries 2 people. So whether you need to carry an absurd amount of wheels and tires, I think it was like 24 pieces total, 20 to 24 pieces, or take a family of 5 to the mountains for a week, the Wagon has got you covered. Now, you might be thinking, what is the difference? Why would I want a Wagon over something that seems more capable, like an SUV? At first, you're probably thinking, well, I'm looking at an SUV, I'm gonna need some ground clearance, and I'm gonna need some all-wheel drive. Mine is lowered if you couldn't tell, but a lot of Wagons come available either in manual, automatic, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, and some of them have such an amazing ground clearance, they could almost qualify for an SUV. But where you're gonna find the real difference is in the price versus what you get. If you're getting an SUV, you're paying more for the same features that you would get in a Wagon just to have it in an SUV. So my next reason as why you guys should be dailying a Wagon versus anything else is gonna be gas mileage. Now, obviously mine being from 1994, having almost 200,000 miles, is not gonna be the most fuel efficient vehicle. While I get about 18 to 22 miles a gallon, you're probably gonna want more than that if you drive a lot with your daily. Anything from a new Mazda Speed 3, a newer BMW Wagon, a newer Audi Wagon, all of these for the most part are gonna have great gas mileage when compared to an SUV. Next, if you're like me, if you're like my mom, even though it's just your daily, you're gonna want it to have some sort of performance aspect to it. Now, I'm not saying this thing handles very well, I'm not saying this thing is very fast, but this thing was eating up the mountains this weekend, ripping around corners. You're just not gonna get that with an SUV. It's gonna feel heavier, it's gonna feel clunkier. Obviously, if you're going off-roading, that's more of what you need it for, get an SUV. But for the majority of us who need a daily and want something that's gonna be fun as well, Wagon's gonna be it any day of the week. Now, let me show you guys some of the features that you get when you get a Wagon over an SUV. Car manufacturers understand who is going to be in the market for a Wagon and what they're going to be using it for. Let me show you. So for my car specifically, you have a very driver-oriented and front passenger-oriented vehicle, getting a giant windshield for plenty of visibility. Both front seats have plenty of room and plenty of headspace as well. Now, at heart, a Wagon is going to be an adventure vehicle. And you might think, well, Fitz, a lot of SUVs have all of these features, if not more. The price that you can get a Wagon with all of this stuff included, gas mileage, reliability, space to haul stuff, performance and handling, you're going to be getting all of this for a fraction of the cost of an SUV, or at least significantly less. So if you guys don't know, I'm 6'3", I'm a pretty tall dude. I have plenty of headroom in here. This is a really tall hat, but I have plenty of headroom. I feel very comfortable, very at home, like I could ride in the back of this thing for hours, and I have, and I can. Not to mention that the driver's seat is pretty much all the way back, which is my preferred driving position. I've said it once and I'll say it again, you can carry 5 people. You can take yourself and 4 of your best friends, all of your stuff, go out to the beach, go up to the mountains, go on a long ass road trip. It's really up to you what you decide to do with the wagon, but I love how it gives you the option to do any of those things, all of your friends included. Now, having this thing as my daily for the past 6 to 8 months, I have found out so many great things about it, but my favorite thing about it would be the hatch. And just like that, you can set your groceries, you can set your pet, your anything else you want to put back here without taking up space in the rear seats. Now, yeah, okay, cool, sedans have trunks, all right? But do they have all this extra space? Nope. No, they do not. Another thing I forgot to mention on why you should be getting a wagon over a sedan or an SUV as a daily, or as just an adventure vehicle, to be honest, is that the back seats are gonna fold down and give you so much room. If you guys have not watched my camping video where I took this thing out and see if you could go camping in it, go watch that. But long story short, the answer was yes. I was able to fold down my back seats, I could lay out a bed, and we had space for 2. While you might get some room or some space with a truck, you have a whole covered interior for anything and everything that you'd possibly want to carry with a wagon. While the wagon is kind of hard to park sometimes just because of its sheer size, compared to an SUV, it doesn't have very bad blind spots. It's not quite as hard to park as an SUV, and going back to gas mileage for a second, this thing slips through the air a lot easier than a big bulky SUV. Well, that's about all I got for why you guys should be getting a wagon as a daily, but this should give you plenty to consider when purchasing your next car or your next daily. If you guys think I missed anything, be sure to drop it down in the comments below, and possibly some negatives. I didn't want to cover too many negatives. That's partly because I couldn't come up with too many, and if you think I missed any of those, good or bad, be sure to put them down in the comments below. Time for the walk around of Wagon. This is my 1994 E34 Touring slick top, which I found out is kind of rare. BMW stuck sunroofs on everything in the 90s, and as you can see, while this is a base model way back in the day, it's actually quite sought after because it doesn't have a sunroof. This is a positive for me, 1, because it's not going to have many leaks, 2, because it makes the car go up in value, and while it is a base model, I love it to death and wouldn't want anything more. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this thing is dropped a few inches on D2 coilovers. These have similar suspension to an E30 where you have to weld the front strut. I'm rocking BBS Style 5s, Achilles ATR Sports, and a little bit of low. Nothing too much else suspension wise. This color is called Oxford Green for you non-BMW enthusiasts. I love it. It's a beautiful dark green, and when I get the new hatch on, we're definitely just getting this thing resprayed in the same color. Like you saw earlier in the video, we have the base tan interior with a big black leather wheel. Again, just the base model, so nothing too fancy, but it is the 5 Series, so it comes with a couple other bits compared to the 3 Series of its time. One cool little quirk, a little feature of the wagon is that the hood opens up backwards. I think that's a beautiful touch and I absolutely love it. Under the hood we have a very stock, very healthy M50. Like I said, this thing almost has 200,000 miles on it now, and it has been nothing but perfect since I got it. Alright y'all, well that is going to be it for today's video. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. The number one thing you guys can do to help me out with this channel is just tell a friend. Pick one friend and tell them if you have liked the content. Who knows, maybe they might as well. This has been Fitz Miller and Wagon back here with another video. If you guys want more Wagon content, be sure to let me know. You can drop any suggestions down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.